Okay, we're going.
Awesome. So find yourself into child pose. And really root down through your butt to the ground. Relax. Find the places throughout your back and your legs, and just breathe away the tension. And now start cultivating your ujjayi breath. Breathe in and out. One more. In and out. And now on your next in-breath, find your way into downward facing dog. Now while you're here, I want you to find those last bits of tension and breathe into them. Find ease in the pose. Bicycle your feet. Shift your hips back and forth. On your next inhale, extend your right leg back to the wall. And then open up and do a few small circles with your knee. And as you exhale, bring your foot back down to the ground. The other leg. Next inhale. Bend. Open up your hip. Really let your hip feel the stretch. And as you exhale, bring your leg to the floor. Now slowly walk your hands forward to your walk your legs forward to your hands and drop into a deep forward fold ragdoll. Let your neck relax and breathe and let every breath deepen you into the pose. And on your next inhale, slowly start rolling your way up into mountain. Now root your feet and really feel strength. Feel you are about to have an incredible practice, and it was going to be exactly what you needed to be at this particular time. Now on your next exhale, bring your hands to touch and fold down into standing forward bend. And on your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale into high plank. On your next inhale, go forward, scooch forward, and exhale and drop into chaturanga. And inhale, downward dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step your feet up towards your hands. And slowly inhale as you come up into halfway lift. Exhale. On your next inhale, open up into full mountain. On your next exhale, drop down into forward fold, and with your next breath, open up into halfway and drop into forward fold. Now high plank, and drop with your breath down into chaturanga. Breathe in and back bend, and push back to downward facing dog. Okay, next, get back up to your feet, or your hands, and inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain. And now slowly bring your hands down to your feet. Bend to forward fold. Halfway lift. And now, is that too slow?
That's me.
And high plank. On your next inhale, move forward, and then drop into chaturanga and back bend. And push back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Find those places that are really building up the tension, really building up the heat, and help move it around by breathing into that sensation. On your next inhale, bring your feet to your hands and halfway lift. Drop and chair. Hold it for 2 breaths, and then on your exhale, forward fold. Lift into halfway and drop. And back to plank. As you breathe in, go forward, drop into chaturanga, and back bend. Push back into downward facing dog. With your next inhale, on your next exhale, bring your right foot forward and inhale up into warrior one. Really find those places of tension and work with them. Push into them. Find a way to find ease, but really appreciate the strength of the pose. Now, as you breathe out, drop into plank. Descend on your next exhale, and then inhale, backward bend. Exhale into downward facing dog. On your next exhale, bring your left foot forward, and inhale to warrior one. Take a couple breaths and find that tension, find the release in the places that you can release. And now on your next exhale, come down to downward facing, not downward facing dog, high plank. Inhale, move forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, backward bend. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Make sure the video is working. Just run a little finger on the thing real quick.
Okay. On your next inhale, bring both your feet to your hands and lift, halfway lift, forward fold, share. Really find that place in your hips where it is really tight and push that tension around the rest of your body. Breathe into it. And now on your next exhale, drop into forward fold. Halfway lift and forward fold, high plank. Inhale, chaturanga. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And push back into downward facing dog. On your next exhale, bring your right foot forward. And then inhale up into warrior one. Exhale into high plank. Inhale, move forward and drop to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward. And breathe up into warrior one. Forward fold. High plank. And breathe and go forward, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Push back into downward facing dog. And now bring your hands to your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Share. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Plank. Chaturanga. And upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Now take a moment to really find the ease in the pose. Push around. Just experiment with it. Find that one move that will make this pose feel that much better. And when you're ready, bring your right foot forward and come up into warrior one. On your next exhale, open your arms and go to warrior two. And find the strength, find the grounding through your pose. Really, really feel like you're stretching out the mat. Find that really strong grounding. And on your next exhale, move your arm forward and then reverse your warrior.
You explained that correctly. I just
And keep your arms straight. And really let your right side feel that stretch. Feel it all the way down into your hip. And on your next exhale, go down into plank. Chaturanga. And now upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward. And now inhale into warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. And now find a sensation in your front leg and really play around with it. Find your edge. On your next exhale, move forward, move your arm forward to the front of the room and reverse your warrior. Breathe into it. And now high plank. Chaturanga. And upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And now take a couple breaths. And when you're ready, bring both your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Come up into share. And fold. And plank. Come forward. Chaturanga. Backward bend. Take a couple breaths. Okay, and now when you're ready, breathe, exhale, and breathe into your downward facing dog. Find the space. Find the length in the pose. Because we are about to do some crescent lunge.
Yeah.
On your next inhale, lift your right leg and bring it all the way through to your hands. And inhale up into crescent lunge. Find a sensation in the outside of your hip and really push into it. Where does crescent lunge go?
Twisting.
Right. Okay, on your next exhale, bring your hands down to prayer in front of you and stretch the crown of your head towards the front of the room. Once you're fully extended towards the front of the room, exhale and bring your left elbow across and hook it outside of your knee. Push into it, but really keep strength in your back leg. Keep your hips level and find the ease in the pose. On your next inhale, extend your arms. And try and stack your wrists over one another. On your next exhale, drop your both hands to the ground and spin around into warrior two. Oh. Oh.
There it is. Let's go.
Almost had you. On your next exhale, stretch forward, and then inhale and reverse your warrior. Take a breath, and then high plank. On your next inhale, move forward, chaturanga. and backward bend. Push into downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg and bring it through between both your hands and lift into crescent lunge. Take a few nice deep breaths and find the strength in your hips that will keep you grounded in this pose. Level your hips. And now bring your hands down to prayer. On your next exhale, stretch forward. Take a breath. And now twist into twisting lunge. Really keep that power in your back leg and don't drop into your right hip. On your next inhale, extend your arms and really try to push against the ceiling. Take a couple breaths, and when you're ready, bring your hands down to the ground. High plank. Or not high plank. Warrior 2. Really feel the contrast between those last couple poses. Feel that opening in your hips. And on your next exhale, move forward and then reverse your warrior. On your next exhale or inhale, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. And now push back into downward facing dog. I missed side plank, didn't I?
That's okay.
Well,
I mean, I can do it.
we're going to do some side plank.
All right.
Come into high plank and slowly put your weight on your right hand and square your hips and really push into it. Push into the ground, push into your feet. Find the strength in the pose. Find the power. Ooh.
I got the power.
Inhale and push up. And then exhale, bring your hand back down to the ground. And chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And let's just throw in some three-legged dog. So lift your right leg on your next inhale, and on your exhale, bend your knee and open up your hip. Take a couple breaths. Really feel the stretch in that side of your body. And when you're ready, inhale to extend your leg back. Exhale to drop it. On your next inhale, come to high plank. And move your weight over to your left arm. Twist, and you are in side plank. On your next exhale, drop your hand to the mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Next inhale, lift your left leg. Bend your knee and open your hip. stack your hips one over the other. Really get into that stretch. On your next inhale, stretch your leg back and drop. On your next inhale, bring your feet to your hands and halfway lift, forward fold, mountain, and now sit down into chair. Find that edge, find where you can go to. Try and move your hips as far back as they can go. Try to sit down past the edge of where you think you can go to. And now, on your next exhale, bring your hands down in front of your chest and slowly twist to your right side. Keep your knees square. Don't let your left knee scooch forward. And really try and sit down into it. Open your arms and feel the twist. Feel it all the way down through your spine, right to the point where it hits your hips. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. High plank. Come forward and drop into Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bring your feet forward to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Mountain pose. And now sit down into your chair.
There it. Precious. Not my precious.
Take a couple breaths and really find that edge. Find that how far back you can sit. And when you think you can't go further, go that tiny, tiny bit further. Bring your hands together. Bend forward. And hook your right elbow outside your left knee. Push your hands together and really let your shoulders come back together. On your next inhale, drop your hand to the mat and extend the pose. On your next exhale, drop into forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold, plank. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And I think you are done.
Woohoo! Yay!
How was that?
Good job. That was
Thank you.
great. Yay! That was sweaty. Thank you so much.
I'll be sweaty in a second.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really nice. Yeah, it was super creative and organic. I felt like you were really coming from, like, your theme was, to me, find that place of tension, breathe into it, and, like, spread it out through your body. That was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was really creative. I loved it.
I think I might have messed up the seat. Oh, and look at that.
Woohoo!
15 seconds.
Oh my god, you're a genius. Yay, Justin!